This is the Media and Mind podcast with your host, K.W.H. Dare to see the gray. This is episode 6. Is Mark Passio part of Project Pogo? We in the other episodes we talked about other infiltrators within the truth movement. There was two parts of that, but we briefly mentioned Mark Passio. But with today's show, I'm gonna the reason I'm actually going back to him is recently this week he had somebody did a documentary on him, and something he said really caught my ear. Basically proving what I was suspicious of him at. So it seems like he gave me some ammo this time. So he gave me more ammo this week. We're gonna be covering that. First off, I'm just gonna cover some current events. What I witnessed this week. Um, Trump. First of all, I'm sure everybody heard about Trump wanting to do test nuclear weapons again, which is absolutely retarded. I'm sure a lot of people here know that, I think in the 1950s they did a lot of nuclear tests, and there was people that got cancer from it, and there was especially some of the Indian reservations that they would do them there, and then people would get cancer and other uh, problems, health problems after it. But it was really retarded. I couldn't believe, when I researched that they blew off so many and they blew up islands, and they even it's even suspected that when they were testing nuclear bombs in the ozone layer, that they're actually the ones that blew a hole in it. It wasn't from the other crap. I forget the name of it. They had, it's like hairspray and everything. If you were living in the early 90s, when I was in school in the 90s, I always think it was aerosol injections or I'm sorry, not aerosol. Forgetting what the name was, but anyways, they were claiming that hairspray and other stuff like that was what caused a hole in the ozone layer, which was completely retarded. And then later, I learned, about all the projects that they tested nuclear weapons up in the ozone layer, and that's what people think that actually did cause the hole in there. So it's really retarded, and I couldn't believe that Trump wanted to start it up again. They're saying about underground, but I think that's a huge problem too because um, you know uh, you're the water. Usually the good thing if you do it on the surface, usually a lot of times the underground is not contaminated, or the water is still okay down there. But when you're blowing a nuclear bomb underground, there's probably there's even more of a risk now that you're probably contaminating the water down there and other things down there. That really pissed me off when I heard about that. So that's the one thing. So what's going on with that? And let's see. Something I've actually I don't I'm not a big fan of Owen Sawyer. I'm definitely not. I know he I mean, yeah, I give him props for from leaving InfoWars recently, like about a month and a half ago. Because Alex was forcing him to talk about good about Trump, and everything, and Owen finally I think had it, and funny actually, I think I am the one. I took a screenshot of a couple like a week before Owen quit, and basically he didn't like what Owen was talking about Israel, and then he came in and he like it was really uncomfortable too. Like I said, do you have any um do you have any um like like personal space, like this, like what, how the fuck did you go? Like if somebody did that to me, I'd want to punch him. But yeah, he was like right over his shoulders, like, and then in the middle of the show, interrupting him, and it was just so I know I took a screenshot. Thought it was pretty fucking funny. But yeah, but anyway, but yeah, I've always thought Owen was a half-asser. I like to call him because I mean the guy only turned against him like 3 months ago or something, and and a lot of us have turned against him. Well, I turned against him in 2017 with a Syria attack, I mean, you should have, most people, if you're smart enough, at least you should have turned against him with the COVID thing, him starting that, and then he all the gun, for red flag law and all that stuff, and the bump stocks and everything, and the Second Amendment stuff. So I would have thought people would have, turned against him then. So, but yeah, there was people, and there was people even more even retarded even after that. They still um, voted for him, and that was definitely Owen. So yeah, I think he's just trying to jump on the bandwagon. It's uh, yeah, it's just suspicious the timing of it. So I just really don't believe it. And I think now that it's unpopular to be on Trump, he's like, oh, I got to do something to save my career. I don't want to end with Trump. And Alex is basically going down the ship with Trump, because he's so invested in it. So but but anyways, yeah. But just get to the main point here. So yeah, so in the Owen report on down to my notes here. Let's see. Yeah, on no October 16th, 2023. Um, that's when I was going back and watching it, and a caller called into his show, and I mean, I'll play it here, but I'll just summarize it here. But basically, she was saying that she was sick of the two-party system, and she didn't see any reason of voting. And then Owen, that's why I think he's a half-asser, because he's like he's there to kind of get you back into the two-party system. The Republicans, he's trying to get you back into that again. And he's not talking about a hypothetical surgical revolution or new republic or anything like that. He just wants to get people back into the voting system. So yeah, there's a girl that calls in and she says, I'm sick of it. I don't think I should even vote. And then he pacifies, her by basically saying, well, there is Thomas Massey and there's MTG and all that. So, and I mean, I don't, I can't find too much wrong with it. Thomas Massey, I mean, there is a lot of good things about him, but it's like I don't trust really any of the congressmen that get elected there, because first of all, you have to go through a lot of screening process to go there, and I really don't believe that anybody gets through the gate without being blackmailed. So I'm sure if I do more digging on Thomas Massey, I'd probably be able to find something. But as of now, yeah, he's not that bad. But he's just not, to me, he's not hardcore enough and not radical enough to get a new system going, get rid of this old system. I think it's a waste. So, and we went over that and other things, but yeah, so let me share the screen, and then I'll show that clip of I'll skip to it. It was like 2 hours and 32 minutes about. So yeah, so let me just share my screen. Cut my video here. Okay. Menu's always kind of in the way, so sometimes it blocks you from getting to the. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, so I think it was like around 2 hours and 32 minutes is where she called in. Okay, let's put that there.
And it's kind of just a holding pattern right now, because there's nothing we can do now. We are now up against the swamp, which is it's like you can't even believe it, but we are. Now we are still up against the swamp. Even though Trump is president, we're still fighting the swamp. We're still fighting the deep state. So really nothing has changed, except now you've got this new MAGA crew
it's actually
that's fighting for the swamp.
It was a little here.
Public with this stuff, but like, trust me, people that are way bigger than me, way more influence than me, richer, big names, they tell me like, hey, we like what you're doing. We like what you're saying. Keep it up. It's like we can't go there yet, but keep it up. So there is this undercurrent right now in right-wing politics. There is a very powerful undercurrent that is just not ready to rise up. They're just not ready to go against the new establishment right wing. They don't want to be. They don't want to have these anti-Trump, all these other attacks and all these narratives against them. So they're kind of. But trust me, there is a huge undercurrent brewing in right-wing politics, and it's either going to emerge in the midterms or it's going to emerge in 2028. But if you don't sound like Owen Shroyer in 2028, you're not going to get elected. Trust me on that. Don't doubt me on
Definitely. Definitely. I appreciate your commentary, and thank you so much for giving me a little bit of hope. You have a good night.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I went. Actually, it is at 2:32. I think that's when she begins talking. So yeah, let's just go back on that.
that. Crew that's fighting for the swamp. So it's like this kind of a new dynamic that we're dealing with here. I'm just facing it. I've just decided I'm just going to go head on with it because they won't leave me alone.
My thing is this. Okay, so you look at the 26th and you look at the 28th and you look at everybody that we have to choose from right now. There's not anybody that I would be willing to vote for because they all suck.
Well, you got Thomas Massey in your state. He's great. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I wouldn't be surprised if Marjorie Taylor Greene has presidential hopeful.
The Marjorie Taylor Greene, guys, like she is the biggest fucking fake too. Like, I mean, first to remind everybody, she's the one that she voted for that, big beautiful bill and didn't read it. And there's a lot of other stuff with her. She's another plant, I think. Acting like a fake independent. But yeah, so yeah, I very steer clear from MTG. And like I said, I'd stay away from the two parties in general and really get something else going here, so because this is ridiculous. I mean, for them, you would think they would learn because they thought Trump was the last hope in the golden age and everything. But, I mean, I don't, I mean, you would think they would, you know, figure it out that the two-party system ain't going to work. But see, Owen keeps on pushing it. But yeah, let's continue here.
In her mind, based off the way she's conducting herself right now, she seems to be intentionally separating herself from this new brand of right-wing deep statism. So I think that those are two names that could emerge. My prediction is Vivek Ramaswamy might pop back up, and he's pretty good. My prediction is you're going to see people emerge in Republican.
Yeah, and Vic was, he's another one that's a plant. He did say some good things. I mean, he pretty much was the only one that said about the Federal Reserve. The thing I didn't like about Vic is he was talking about bringing the nuclear power plants back, which I thought was also fucking retarded, especially after Fukushima thing. The main problem with that is what I have an issue with is there's so many other suppressed technologies that are way safer. There's hydrogen and there's magnetic electromagnetic technology or even coal. I mean, now that they have this it's clean scrubbers where basically nothing comes out as long as they don't run it out into the rivers or something. That's what we have the most of. So yeah, this nuclear thing is stupid because that they assume everything's going to go right, and there's no natural disasters or anything, but we know we have natural disasters and earthquakes and stuff like that. And the problem is if you don't, shut those things down properly, they melt down and they cause a lot of pollution to the planet and, could kill a lot of people. So, and even not just that, just transporting a nuclear material is dangerous, unless they get in an accident. So I think it's very unnecessary risk to that. But Vic is really big on nuclear power plants, and so is Trump too. So they're pushing it. So no, wouldn't want to do the alternatives, suppressed alternatives. We're never going to see that, I guess. But yeah. So just kind of wanted to cover Owen. Yeah, he's like I said, he's going against Israel. He's doing a lot of good things, but he's half-assing it, and he's still staying in the two-party system and recommended people that are more plants, just like Trump. And he's still kind of like he'll say, oh, Trump is, I still think he's a good guy, and he'll say the good guy, he's a good guy, and kind of like what Trump does. He says Epstein's a good guy, and scumbags are good guys. So that, but anyways, let's get to the main subject here is Mark Passio and something I don't know if anybody's heard about this Project Pogo. It's called. I heard about it from one of my friends, Donald Larson. He's one of my friends on there. He shared it. I think it was like 2019. This came out. Supposedly it was a guy he got somebody gave him papers for information about Project Pogo and Project Zephyr, I think it's called. And Project Pogo is how he explained it was what actually my dad kind of suspected. Geez, like early 2000s. He actually warned me not to. He used to tell me not to go to Alex Jones's website and all that because he said, they're probably collecting IP addresses and all that. And I kind of I blew it off. I talked about it in another episode, but I blew it off and I kind of was too prideful and just did it anyways. And I mean that was a long time ago, so hopefully they don't have information anymore. But anyways, I mean now I use a VPN for everything, um, but yeah, um, but so this guy, he's talking about exactly what we suspected, and they call it Project Pogo, and the whole thing is about they'll actually let people that are they'll leave certain people on YouTube, and they're kind of like gatekeepers, so they're kind of like bait for when people go there. Then they can collect your IP address and more easily if you use your real name, it's really easy for them finding your photos or a real email. And so the whole project was basically searching these people that go to these websites and then finding out who the rebels were so they could eliminate them in the future. Pogo is just finding these people and cataloging it. And then Project Zephyr was to actually eliminate the targets. And he was saying that was COVID was primarily they were trying to do that with, but also in the future they could use genetically engineered viruses specifically for the person's DNA, so they could kill you that way. So that was more Zephyr, but Pogo already is happening now. The reason I'm gonna play about 10 minutes of that, and then we'll go to how I suspect that Mark Passio is part of this too. So. And Alex Jones, we already said that. So anyways, yeah, let's go to the Project Pogo. I'm just gonna play the first 10 minutes because it goes on for a while. You can play it and watch it later when you want to.
Hello everyone, this is David Goldberg again. This is probably going to be one of my most important videos that I've done yet. We're going to discuss a couple of things, new things that have come up. I have received classified documents from my White House insider, and we also have some memos that I've referenced in the past, and I'm going to walk through everything that I've been deciphering and learning from these videos, from the documents that I've received. So, we'll get into this. The crux of it, I want to just introduce you right away. What is it all about? This is it. This is what the documents reveal. There are too many people waking up. There are too many Americans, more and more of them, that are suspicious of Israel. More and more Americans aware of Zionism. This has been around for decades and decades. You go back to the 50s, 60s, there's a lot of literature about Zionism, about Judaism. It's not unusual, but the difference is today, more and more people are waking up to it. It's been a real tipping point where you always had maybe about 0.5% of the population that was aware of Zionism, that did not like Jews and whatnot, but they were never part of the mainstream. They were always dismissed as conspiracy theorists. They had no influence. So they were not really a threat. But that has changed. And you know that has changed. Anyone paying attention knows that has changed. We have seen a big change in comment sections on YouTube, many people making references to Zionism. It has become a part of the nomenclature through the influence of 8chan, 4chan, many, many websites, and ultimately many, many YouTube channels that have been speaking the truth very aggressively for many years, but it has really gotten attention lately. It is somewhat of a cumulative effect, a snowball effect, where more and more people start to wake up to the truth and the facts, and it just expands. And people become more accepting of it. And they start to say, okay, it's okay for me to look at the information. I'm not an anti-Semite for looking at it. And it really starts to click for people. So this has been a big change in the recent past few years. What happened is that Israel, its agents, its propagandists, have been paying very, very, very close attention to this over the past few years. They know this is happening. They are very concerned about it. We are talking about 0.5% of Americans who have some idea of Zionism and they're against it and they understand it. That number, according to these documents, is now about, I saw two numbers. They said 15%, and another one said 7%, but that is a very large number of Americans that have woken up to what's going on with Israel and Zionism and the Israeli lobby and the influence. They're unafraid to hate Israel. That number is very high, and it has them very concerned. This is much of what the classified documents talk about, but we'll get into that more. I wanted to set it up for you so you actually understand what this is really about. What I was given from the White House Insider. The main part that you really need to know, though, is they have a plan for all of this. So I'm going to talk about that now. There is discussion within these documents years ago to ban the YouTube channels, to shut it down, all of that. But they changed course. They made a decision to do something completely different. And they decided, instead of censoring everything, to fund and promote gatekeeper channels, shill channels, to simply gather and collect all the open-minded people who are looking at the issue. And they did shut down some of the legitimate channels, and that has actually happened. If you're following some of that, you are aware that there have been channels that have been shut down, almost completely eliminated. Some of those channels were not a part of the original gatekeeper channels. They have no connection. They are truth-telling channels. Some of those they've eliminated that they felt were a threat or that might be calling out the gatekeeper channels. So, I'm just looking through some of the documents here and seeing what I want to talk about next. One really interesting aspect of all this is that the gatekeeper channels and the shill channels, typically these would be disinfo channels. Disinfo channels like Alex Jones, for example, has been a long time disinfo Zionist channel. Very, very active in deflecting people away from Zionism. Alex Jones talks about everything, but he never talks about Israel. So that is an active disinfo channel that's been around forever. What they created with these new gatekeeper channels is very truthful channels. They're very honest. They don't put out a lot of disinfo. They are actually legitimate. And that is done to...
Yeah, that's true too, So, and I always tell people like, don't just like, I mean, you go there, obviously, use a VPN and not your real name or anything, but you should still study these people. And like I said, there's still a lot of gold in this too. I mean, you can double check a lot. So Alex Jones does, talk about a lot of truth. It's just that 1% twist. So, when I say that, it's like I'm not saying not to look at these people. I still watch all these people. I even watch mainstream media just to keep up what they're up to. I watch everything. So yeah, just take a piece and everybody has a piece of the puzzle and put it together to make your own conclusion. So, yeah, just continue this a couple more minutes here.
To give them credibility among these people who are awake, who are waking up. There was very specifically done the documents to talk about that. Now I'm going to talk about what is the purpose of the whole operation, and the purpose of this is to put out truthful channels, to attract people to them. They call it tag, track, and ID. It is a term used throughout the documents, TTID. It's something you want to remember. This is very common throughout these documents. They refer to it all the time. So what does that tell you? They want to tag, they want to track you, and they want to identify who you are. If you are watching these channels, if you are informed, if you are awake on these issues, they want to tag you, they want to track you, and they want to know exactly who you are. They want to know, and it talks about the tracking people's IP addresses through YouTube. They have access to YouTube. They do know who you are. So this is discussed a lot in the documents. I'm just looking through it right now. And there are two projects, and it's very important to listen to this. Project Pogo is one of them, and Project Zephr. I will spell that one. ZYPHR. Project Pogo and Project Zephr are the two projects that the classified documents are referring to, and each has a different role. Project Pogo is about the YouTube gatekeepers, how they are all agents. They are all paid to put out truthful information so that they can tag, track, and ID the people that are watching the videos and giving them likes and giving them comments. They're tracking all of it. Project Zephr is a different project, and that's what I will talk about in a bit. That is the second stage here. That is coming up. And that is the extermination. They're going to exterminate these people, whether it is tag them for anti-Semitic speech, charge them with crimes, eliminate them completely, and this is where I'll talk about in the documents where they talk about guillotine.
Yeah, and that actually happened, and this was 2019. This guy recorded. So as everybody knows, Trump in the beginning of his second term, he signed an executive order to make it illegal to talk bad about Israel, so that you could be arrested. And then they, with the Charlie Kirk thing, they were basically trying to find people that were like didn't care about it or were celebrating it. They also tagged them and flagged them for that. So yeah, in the future, this goes right along with the whole Israel exterminating people who are not liking Israel. So yeah, it's pretty wild. He knew about this.
Viral attacks, targeted. How they're going to eliminate these people without too much suspicion, without too many people noticing. But here's the problem. As I read the documents, I can see I have documents from 4 years ago, I have documents from 2 years ago, and then I have documents from 3 months ago. So there's a progression in the timeline as the projects change. And Project Zephr has changed. in the beginning, they were talking a lot about, okay, we are going to infect these people with a virus that imitates the flu virus. They're going to eliminate them in very.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, if you want to, you can. I'll put the link on to this in the description. You can, if you want to watch the whole thing, you can. But yeah, that basically summarizes what I'm going to be talking about tonight with Mark Passio here. So, first, let's see. Stop share for a second. Share here. So I covered this. We looked at this post and a couple other episodes ago, but just need to gonna show it again here because we're on subject. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, so I made this post in 2024, and this was. And let's see if this works. See, well, yeah. So, yeah, because he one of his shows about a couple of years ago, he was getting really angry about people. Basically, he was saying, being anonymous, he's like, oh, you don't have to be Mr. Secret Agent. And I was kind of like wondering, I was like, well, why does it matter that you need to know their name? So this is why I wrote this post. So I'll read it here. I'll advise everyone to use a fake name and a VPN, especially if you have skin in the game. The name I use here is my pen name. It has nothing to do with fear. I just don't see any reason to make the enemy's job easy finding me, and it pisses them off beyond belief, and I find their frustration entertaining. My dad warned me about potential infiltrators posing as lovers when I was a teen. Individuals or parties of people who collect names and IP addresses and most likely sell them to the Satanists, or whatever, not just Satanists, government people and other entities. At the time, it was Alex Jones' InfoWars site I visited often. I blew him off then and was too prideful to take precautions. However, after studying how the Revolutionary War was fought and that many used code names, coded letters, and met usually at private locations, my mind was changed. Many did not advertise that they were rebels. This was portrayed in the brilliant series Turn, which I highly recommend for freedoms to watch. The psychology for a long time has been you're a coward if you use stealth tactics. I think this is the enemy that programmed this into people so they can easily identify them and eliminate them. Passio says how much smarter and more organized the Satanists are compared to the freedom community movement, but for some reason he doesn't want us to use the same tactics that they use regarding code names. They mostly do have fake names, and that is why a lot of them are successful at pulling off their agendas. So yeah, he's really against people using coded name, which is really suspicious. So, um, but yeah, so yeah, we'll go to. Actually, I just wanted. Also, another thing that's really suspicious. This is his channel. What on earth is happening here? Or no, I'm sorry, this isn't his channel. That's the document we're gonna go to. Right here, yeah, this is the his channel, and look at here. I mean, what's he turns off the comments on everything. And like I said before, he's not really for the First Amendment. He doesn't. I mean, he said if people question him or didn't agree with something or said he was making something up, that he would basically beat you with a baseball bat. So that was ridiculous. But see, I just don't see how this guy, if he was the real deal, why they're still keeping his account on here. And like I said, like here, I mean, look at here. I mean, he has 184,000 people on here. Usually when you get up to 10,000, that's usually when they start trying to ban you. So it's just highly suspicious. So I find it really weird. So anyways, yeah. So this was just about a week ago. Somebody made this documentary, and then again, he basically confirmed my suspicions right here. So I'm gonna play that. So sharing a screen, and it was at let's see here, 26 minutes about. And you can watch. I'll put the link in here too for you guys to watch the whole thing. And it is good. And I also want to say, I mean, except for some like the 1%, I mean, his stuff is gold. I mean, I agree with 99.9% of what he says. So I'm not against natural law or volunteerism or that kind of stuff. So let's see here, 2601. Okay, there
team.
it is.
They're no help to our cause. They're no help to our effort. And I can't calm down. I can't just be calm about it. I can't. We shouldn't be being calm about it. We should all be
Go
up.
back a little
Don't know
more.
how to do anything and want to remain anonymous cow. Was about where the human mindset is at. It's in a state of perfect thrall.
Okay, pretty soon.
Some people have woken up. It's altogether a piss poor effort. The freedom movement is junk. It's wishy-washy people who don't know enough, who don't have enough skills, who don't put skin in the game. That's why the freedom community sucks. It's a bunch of pranksters is what it is. It's pranksters. There's no adult, there's very few adults in this community. The rest are babyfied pranksters that have no life skills, don't know how to do anything, and want to remain anonymous cowards. And they're no help to our team. They're no help to our cause. They're no help to our effort. And I can't calm down. I can't just be calm about it. I can't. We shouldn't be being calm about it. We should be up in fucking motherfuckers' faces about it. I'm extreme.
It just pisses him, like he gets so pissed off about it, and that's weird, man. And see, he's like, and if you have skin in the game, yeah. So he wants you to show your face, show your name, so they can target you. It's much more frustrating for them to be anonymous. I'm telling you, like people, it's not, you don't have to be sitting on your computer to do. You can still locally, anonymous. But when you're online, don't make it easy for them. So. Yeah, I'm very suspicious that this guy is part of Project Pogo, and obviously Jones and probably Rogan and a lot of the other ones, but yeah, so yeah,
Extremely
it's so
disappointed at the
pissed
progress
off.
of the truth movement. It's a shame. It's sad. They don't have an accurate understanding.
Yeah, because they don't
They're
worship
still
it.
stuck in religion.
They question. We question what he says, so now
They're still stuck in politics. They're still stuck in the belief in authority. It's a tragic mess. It's clusterfuck. It is profoundly sad at a spiritual.
Yeah, so, but yeah, and a lot of people have been watching his show, I guess, for the last 5 years. He's just been, I mean, like, I don't care about being nice. I mean, that's not what but he just puts people in one category and just like attack, he's just full on attacking his own followers. So, it's really bad. So he's lost a lot of support, but yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to, you know, show some proof on that one of my suspicions here. So, but yeah, that pretty much, we're getting to the end of the show here. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Let's see, put my camera back on here. Okay, camera. All right. So yeah, so yeah, I'll just here and show you how you can support me again. It's as always, it's kwholin.com. I'm not sure why it takes so long to load my website. the alarm for the end of the show here. Okay, so it's not coming up, but if you want to support me, like always, just go to kwholin.com, click on books, and then yeah, my books are available there. You got the printed copy, the PDF, and the audio book I'm working at currently. I'm trying to get that out, so pretty soon. The only problem I'm having with that is for the payment system, they charge $90 to $200 a year. So that's kind of what's kind of holding me back. So people can buy it on my website, but I have to, right now I don't have the funds to get that going yet. So, but I'll keep everybody updated on that. So, all right, well, we'll see you next time.